Hey y'all, it's Jess and welcome back to Roots and Refuge Farm. I have been called out to participate in a collaboration by Rose over at Wholesome Roots to share the 5 reasons why I homestead. Today is a beautiful fall day and I figured it was the perfect day to take a walk around our little 4-acre farm here in Central Arkansas to share with you our journey and why we chose to take it. I'm not sure that I will be able to neatly and simply categorize our homesteading into 5 reasons, but I will try. The first reason why we homestead is because it was just a lifelong dream of mine to have a farm. I mean, from when I was like a little girl, whenever people would say, what do you want to be whenever you grow up? I would say I want to be a farmer. And of course they were thinking like, you know, big agriculture, like in chicken houses and massive crop fields and that sort of thing. And that's not what I ever meant. I definitely envision the little red barn and the family milk cow and a handful of goats and a yard full of chickens and, you know, vegetable patches and beautiful little rows. That was kind of my dream from being a really small child. And I would say that I wanted to work with animals, and I'd volunteered at the animal shelter throughout my, you know, young teenage years and up into adulthood even. And truly, whenever I was in college and all of my peers were making all of their plans, and whenever, you know, my friends started to get married and build starter homes and all of that, I wanted a house in the country. I wanted a farm. That never ever went away for me. So this is really the realizing of a very lifelong dream. Just from since I can remember being a very small child, this is what I wanted. It was like a dream life. Side note, look at this beautiful kale flourishing in my dead garden. This peacock kale, isn't that pretty? Sorry, you know, I can't go without stopping and admiring the vegetables. Reason number 2 why I homestead is because of the food, obviously. I mean, I know that's probably why a lot of people are doing it. My story goes that in 2007, my second son was born and he had really severe food allergies. And I had to completely overhaul my diet in order to be able to nurse him. For the first time in my life, I was reading labels and my eyes were opened to how absolutely unhealthy everything that I was used to eating was. Being the inquisitive person that I am, at the time of learning how unhealthy these things were, I thought, why is this allowed? So I dug even deeper and found out that truly our food system is pretty corrupt. It's broken. And at that point, I wanted to take the initiative to remove myself from that system as much as possible. Now that's been 11 years ago, and truly, I mean, there are a lot of things that we're still dependent on. We fall back into seasons of really being dependent on convenience foods. That's just a, you know, I'm just being honest. I'm not saying that it was like a light bulb moment for me and since then we've been like super healthy and do everything right. We haven't been. However, that is what drove us to this lifestyle, and have goals to, by the end of 2019, be growing 85% of our own food. And I really think at this point of learning and practicing and growing, I think at this point that that's a possibility. So yeah, the food, not just because it's better by taste, I like knowing where it comes from. I also just like being able to say I'm not going to be dependent on a system that's so broken. We got some new chickens. Aren't they beautiful? I was coming out to see if they had started laying yet, but it does not look like they have. So reason number 3 why I homestead, it's just for the experience. This is a really cool life. It's funny because when I drive through suburban neighborhoods and I see little yards and stuff, I think, oh, you could put chickens there and you could put a garden there. And when I have gone and visited other places, traveling around the world and around the country, and I see people living in situations where a farm is just the last thing on their minds, I think, where do you put your goats? Like, it's just, this has become so normal to me, but I realize that it's not normal. Like, most people don't get the experience of spending their days in this kind of slow pace, quiet life where you plant a seed and it grows, and I love that. I love being just kind of disconnected from the man-made world and getting to just experience things growing as they were made to grow. It's just a really cool thing to get to do. It's a really cool life. So yeah, I guess that's really reason number 3. It's just really cool. Sing me the song of your people. So I have employed Sweet Maya to answer the 4th reason why we homestead with me, which is closeness with family and just living a really family-oriented life. So close. Oh my gosh. So this part of why we homestead, I don't know that it was necessarily on our radar when we sought this out. It was kind of a byproduct that was, I mean, it took a process.
Early on, before we had this, we had separate endeavors. Jessica was photography, I was full-time ministry. You know, it was kind of just a normal American family.
Spent a lot of time apart.
A lot of time apart, a lot of time doing other things. And when we made the choice to come out here and do this, I mean, it cost something. It cost, you know, the city that we had been...
kind of had some roots in.
Right. You know, changed cities, changed churches, lost a lot of friends just because of distance. And then, you know, we were doing this together, so we were around each other all the time. And that was an adjustment. I'm glad that we went through it, but I mean, you guys are kind of seeing the byproduct of 4 years of doing this already.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's a lot of process that went into that, a lot of...
We actually had, I mean, we'd been married for 6 years or so when we moved out here, and we really had to learn to be partners in projects and like share hobbies and share, I mean, it wasn't like that before.
Right. So it was a lot of growing.
But it is really amazing.
This going hand in hand with the family unit and that being so important to us is definitely one of the reasons why we do what we do.
Yeah. Hey, sweet kitties. Completely unbothered by me. Oh, Kitten George, you'll say hello, won't you? Kitten George has gotten so big lately. I saw some older videos come up where he was actually still a kitten. You know, along the same lines with what Jeremiah and I were just sharing about, it's the same thing with our kids. You know, like before we were out here and living this life, you know, we lived in town and we stayed pretty busy, and I've always been really intentional to be close with my children and like know what's going on with their life. Like I always say, I always want to know who my kid's best friend is. Like I want to talk to them and know what's going on in their life. But this has honestly, it's fostered a lot more of that as well. I feel like raising kids on a homestead, it really does just give you the opportunity to teach your children just some incredible life lessons. You know, things like hard work and teaching them where their food comes from. Teaching them to take responsibility for what they consume. Teaching them importance of family and the closeness of family and the importance of working together. All of those things have just become really natural lessons here. Reason number 5 as to why I homestead. You know, all of these reasons that I'm sharing today, they feel very intertwined to me. It all goes together in one big yes, essentially. One big yes, I'm gonna do this. One big yes to the decision of whatever it costs. One big yes, and these things are the benefits that we reap. And you know, honestly, the most important reason why we homestead is because we felt called to, and that we get to honor God with our choices. And honestly, I just felt called to. I felt like that's why it was a desire of my heart from whenever I was a really young child. I felt like, you know, the realization of how broken our system was why you know, he was calling us out of that. And I feel like the things that we've gotten to experience since then, like just such good fruit in our family and in our marriage and with our kids, and our health, all of these things, I feel like it's just more evidence that it really was that God was leading us to this. And I really do. I feel like he's leading a lot of people to this lifestyle right now in this time for various reasons, but I truly feel like this is a calling that people are hearing in their spirit, that they're hearing this desire. This is one that I don't see how it could take you farther away from God. You know, when you really like sink your hands into the earth and you really become familiar with this parable type life, I think that it's so easy when you're in that place to find him in it. I always encourage people that if it's something that they're really feeling a call to, just be obedient and just say yes. And whenever the decisions come to you to give up something and to leave the rat race and to sell what you have and to do all of that stuff, do it, but on the same hand, don't take on the full responsibility for having to make it happen. Trust God. Like, if this is something you feel like He is calling you to, then you can trust Him to make it happen. We were not able to make this happen. We got our house on a foreclosure. The things kind of fell into place, and when they started falling into place, we were prompted with the decisions to partner with them. We were prompted with the decisions to make the sacrifices. I mean, it wasn't, it's never, God's never going to 100% do everything for you. You have to partner with it, but He's also never going to ask you to 100% do it yourself. So he puts His hand on what we offer to Him as a sacrifice. All of that to say, my reason number 5 is because this is what I was made for. This is the life. I'm absolutely certain of it. And we only get one life. We only get one opportunity. And for me, it didn't necessarily make the most sense. You know, I closed a pretty lucrative photography business in order to pursue this. You know, Jeremiah was finishing up school to be a pastor. We were truly like kind of in a swirl where we thought we had a direction, and then it was like, no, this is the direction. And it was a little bit of a turn, but as we began to walk that path, we realized how prepared we'd been for that, and how even the desires of our heart lined up for it. And now 5 years down the road, with all the lessons that we've learned and all the benefit that we have gained from it, and now getting to share it on YouTube, I don't feel any sense of question. This is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. However, 5 years ago, there was definitely a question. So my reason number 5, because I think it's a calling, and I hope that that encourages you if you're at the place of making the sacrifices and giving your yes. I hope that encourages you. So there it is, my 5 reasons why I homestead. You guys make sure to check out the link below. Go check out Rose's collaboration playlist. She has several other people that took part in this that were challenged. Oh, and I have to challenge 5 channels. Well, I just had to look on my phone to decide who I was gonna call out today. So the first person that I'm going to challenge to share your 5 reasons why you homestead is my friend Michelle over at Farm Life Outfitters. Michelle has a pretty new channel, but she makes really cute like farm homesteady themed shirts and clothing, and we've been friends on Instagram for a couple years, so y'all go give her a holler and let her know that I've challenged her. My next one is my friend Kaylee at Farm on Quail Hollow. I think you guys are gonna love Kaylee if you go check her channel out and let her know that I've challenged her. She has a really awesome channel, and she's the one who taught me about mangalitzas, our curly pigs. She was kind of my inspiration in that, which I'm going to share more about at a later time. My third challenge is going to be our friends Ben and Andrea over at VW Family Farms. They're local to us, and you've probably seen them on our channel a handful of times. I'd love for them to share their 5 reasons why they homestead. I'd also like to challenge Kathleen over at Mama Grows. She's a really fun channel, and she is super sweet. I would love to hear her take on this. And for my 5th person to challenge, I am going to go ahead and challenge our friends Ethan and Sarah at 180 degrees from average. They are up north dealing with way different weather than us. I'm filming this out here on a 50-degree day at the end of November, but I'm pretty sure they're under some snow that I would love for them to share. I've actually heard personally some of their takes on homesteading just in personal conversation, but I would love for them to make a video. They make beautiful videos, and share with all of you their 5 reasons why they homestead. So y'all make sure and go hop over, give those channels some love, go tell Rose thank you for hosting this collaboration, and I hope that you're encouraged a little bit by the insight of our motivation and why we homestead. Thank you so much for watching. I bless you. Until next time.